So the battles are gearing up ready. We'll speak to our competitors a little bit later on. We do apologise for that. Tibor Ramakers is now going to line up on the front row of the starting grid for the next race, alongside Aston Sharp. So Aston Sharp is another driver who's come straight out of the blocks here this weekend and has already given us a lot to start talking about. It's not been that long since Henry Jocelyn came out of the Mick Barrett Racing fold in junior. He was, of course, the vice-champion last year. It looks as though Aston Sharp is ready to take up the mantle.
Yeah, starting on pole position on this one. And like you say, what do you reckon you could do from the front? Because like you say, it's always a challenge to start on this one. But we'll see what can happen in this one, because it is Junior X30. It's qualifying heat group C and D. His other line up then, Aston Sharp and Tibor Ramakers, they go from that front row. That's an interesting front row, isn't it? It
really is. And you've got, you know, the sort of the excitement and energy of Aston Sharp and the experience and the expectation of Tibor Ramakers. That is going to be a competitive front row start. Romeo Roussel and Austin Gale are next up, then Harrison Mackie and Sandro Perez, Tiziano Cugnini and Zach Green, then Freddie Lloyd and Tyrone Kinnard, Toby Gale and Sam Woolley from Sebastian Mins and Connor Clancy, then Isaac Phelps and Elvis Kosauskas, Wouter Bugno and Jorn Helder, and then we have Alex Martinez and Vilma Svan from George Nassar, Henry Carter, Matt Corby and Enzo Pedraza taking up this position at the tail of the field. But now that Kyle Clark has taken a victory, Aston Sharp is definitely want to get his own run in there. But there are a couple of drivers to watch out for in this junior field just outside the front row. Particularly look at Harrison Mackie, who is obviously being engineered this weekend by his older brother Lewis, who is there working his craft, and we know how feisty Lewis Mackie can be, and Harrison Mackie is definitely just as quick as his brother at the same sort of stage of their careers. Sandro Perez, sixth position, knows the kart very well, knows the circuit very well, so Sandro Perez definitely one to watch, try and charge his way back through. And then you've also got Tizi Cugnini, who is very strong here at Zuera. He actually won several of his races in the past in Mini and Junior X. Oh, whoa, we've got a spin on the main straight. Oh my goodness, that is a weird situation for George Nassar. George Nassar on the formation lap, losing the kart while trying to warm up the tyres. I wonder if he just got the kart slightly off the line and caught the outside grass, and that just pitched him around. It's so cold offline here. You don't forget that it's still only 6 degrees Celsius air temperature. You catch that grass, even with slightly one wheel, and that's going to chuck you off. A very strange situation there for George Nassar, but fortunately, it looks to me as though the Lebanese driver is okay.
Yeah, and unfortunately as well, returning onto the circuit, it's dragged a load of debris onto the inside line of turn one, which will be interesting for the race start. We'll have... Hopefully they will get through that one okay. Yeah, very interesting situation. It's not something you see happen that often in racing, but it can happen. But luckily he's got that kart back underway. I don't think it will have done the tyres or the underneath of the chassis any good, that one going off onto the rough stuff on the outside line. Like we say on this one though, Aston Sharp and Tibor Ramakers starting on the front row of this one. It's going to be very interesting. You can see there Aston Sharp, who will be on the inside line for this one, the optimal line that you want, but probably not this time.
Well, yeah.
You probably want the outside line this time.
It's tricky. As long as Ramakers can get relatively alongside the side pod of Aston Sharp, he may get into the lead going through turn one. So they're going to see how it goes. We are going green. Not a great start from the outside line as usual. Diving through to the inside, trying to come through, and there's a little bit of nudging sideways for both Roussel and Mackie. Somehow they keep the kart pointing in the right direction through turn one. That was the limit of adhesion as the karts started to slide sideways. But a good start initially there from Sharp and from Roussel. Roussel has been able to get himself into second position quite neatly there. Third place, Tibor Ramakers. He didn't let that really start to bug him. He's managed to get himself into a third position, neatly tucking his way through, and as they go through the hairpin for the first time, it is Sharp from Roussel and Ramakers.
That's probably the best start we've seen so far this weekend from the outside line, as someone getting a little bit wide out of turn 7 as they go into turn 8, and oh, someone straight off there. Who's that? The 15 that goes off. That's Vilma Svan, who has gone off the track and head straight down in the steering wheel saying, oh, that was my mistake there.
Well, yeah, Vilma Svan, it's a difficult part of the circuit to go off on because that's probably the roughest of the rough areas offline. So that really does take its toll. I knew one particular competitor a couple of seasons ago running wide at that corner, and a stone caught the car and went right through the engine block. So, up to the first corner, and that's going to be the move from Roussel and Ramakers and Harrison Mackie. They all sail by. No, that's Freddie Lloyd. That is Freddie Lloyd up in third position. What a start it has been from Freddie Lloyd then, the 51. cannoning his way into third position. Now trying to come right round the outside of Tibor Ramakers. That's brave from Freddie Lloyd. He's definitely had his Weetabix this morning.
Well, yeah, definitely so. Great start to his race. So he slots in then to P3. You can see him there. Then number 51 is a nice start to his race. Sharp there. Yeah, that didn't look too fast down the main straight, did it?
No, he just got a little bit... I wonder if he just got a little bit of a wheel caught on the curb.
On the exit of 15?
I think he might have done, yeah. Just caught it there, and that's enough to lose your momentum. He's now lost a place to Tizi Kuznini now as well. So Kuznini in the Pantano has worked his way up into fourth position. Freddie Lloyd getting quite aggressive in the lines there to try and move his way past on the inside of Tibor Ramakers. A nice little bit of defending going through on the inside. That's a nice move from Gale. So Gale gets side by side with Sebastian Mins. Mins takes him back again in the GGM cart. And as they come down the straight, it is Roussel, Ramakers, Lloyd, Kuznini, Sharp, Mackie, Mins, the Gales, and then Zach Green in front of Conor Clancy. But there is a bit of a chop from Freddie Lloyd. He has to think about it, but he's going to have to wait till turn 4. However, Ramakers might seize his chance up on the inside, which he takes, and Lloyd is going to find the gap on the inside as well.
Yep, again, just nice switcheroo there, no time wasted, gets it done, and now looking here, Lloyd gets it done through the next turn of turn 5 and 6. So chopping and changing, that's allowing everyone to close in a little bit more, because Kuznini as well in P4 has latched onto the back, and now it could be 3-4 wide. Look at the entire group now for the race lead. What happened there?
This is it. This is the proper gaggle as they run their way through. This is from ninth position downwards, and off goes Mins. Mins has gone off, and he's damaged the front fairing, so I'm not entirely sure Sebastian Mins is going... and off the road as well goes one of his teammates. So that looks like Conor Clancy. Conor Clancy has drifted wide there. That's a very unfortunate run for him. Conor Clancy, of course, had a great chance to move his way forward in the Winter Cup last time, and it all came a cropper for him. So Conor Clancy now struggling here at Zuera, but Lloyd is the leader from Ramakers, Roussel, Kuznini and Mackie, and all 5 of these drivers jockeying, swapping, jockeying for position. Kuznini trying to dive through on everybody, and Tizi Kuznini going for the lead side by side with Ramakers. He finally has to bail out of it, and he gets a massive chop in the back from Roussel, who was trying to work his way forward. Lloyd is the one who ends up in the lead from Ramakers, and then Kuznini. But Roussel, I don't know whether Roussel supported the move on the inside of Kuznini. Kuznini now diving through on Ramakers. He gets through to second. What a joss of a position this is.
I said watch out for Kuznini. He was coming through. He looked quick out there and is showing what he's got there. Almost fun. Now with a technical flag, so I suspect that excursion earlier off at this turn here has caused some technical issues.
It could well have dislodged the bumper or even... removed the side pod or something similar as he came through. Bit of a wobble there from our leader, Harrison Mackie, who has now come through.
Clipped the dust on the outside of the turn 9, and I think that's what's caused it there. I think that tyre was just a little bit dusty, then loaded it into turn 10, and then it was like, oh, that's a bit wobbly.
Do you know, that's the thing about Junior X30 this year. There is no one dominant force. There is going to be a real race for the title this year. A bit like we saw last year, up until the point when Caranta started to get his act together. Kuznini now diving up the inside of Mackie. Mackie hanging on for dear life. Now Kuznini swarming to try and keep Ramakers back. He turns it into a move for the lead, and Kuznini now manages to hit the front for the first time. The Swiss has come through to first position.
Yep, the Pantano team working well here this weekend. It's looking quick in all seniors and now in juniors as well, so this is good for them as they go through. So Kuznini now maintaining the lead of this race. Mackie, though, still there just behind. Thought he was going to go for a move there into turn 8. Thunk against it, and now slots back. Amaker's still there in P3, but is now having to defend from not going to say an angry group of drivers, but a hungry group of drivers just behind.
Very much so, and it's only getting hungrier as the race goes on. We're about to get into the end of lap 5, so there's only going to be 2 to go. And all it needs is a little bit of a tow, which we're going to get now down the main straight. And all of a sudden, these 4 or 5 drivers are going to start mixing it again. Roussel's going to go onto the bumper of Ramakers. Here comes Harrison Mackie. Dives through to take the lead on Tiziano Kuznini. Lovely move from Harrison Mackie, but there's still going to be plenty of pressure from behind as Roussel now gets his run on Ramakers, gets through into 3rd position. And as they work their way up towards turn 4, Roussel is now trying to hold on to this. Lloyd is going to go through. Is that for 3rd? Never mind for 4th position. It is. And he's going to be side by side with Ramakers, and he'll hold that inside line. He covers it as Ramakers slips behind Romeo Roussel. So both the Fusion drivers, Mackie and Lloyd, very much on the charge. That's a big lunge from Sandro Perez on Ramacas, who drifts onto the curb. And that's Aston Sharp and Toby Gale trying to get through on the inside line as well. Toby Gale runs out of road, but here comes Zach Green. He's going to get alongside Ramacas, who holds him off for the time being.
Yeah, this is great stuff a little further down the order, isn't it? This is brilliant as they go through. It looks to me like the Fusion team have got their engine sorted out and their setup sorted out for this one. They were struggling yesterday in practice and on Friday as well. It looks like they've got it all squared away now, which is good, and they're looking much, much stronger today. Mackie leading then across the line from Kuznini, and look at the gap that's opened up as Russell gets a warning flag, the 26. Where is he currently out on track? He's in P4.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me if that was related to the little incident he had with Kuznini. And out of the race goes Vilma Svart. That's very unfortunate indeed for the Swede. So problems with that. Oh, and a run wide for the leader, Mackie. Kuznini's going to try and get alongside. There's not going to be a lot of room to play with. Kuznini has to bail out of the throttle to try and coax it. So now he's going to have another run at him. He goes very deep in the radius for turn 6 and now tries to tuck it in for 7. Mackie will know he's there, and Lloyd is going to be close in behind them as well. So Kuznini just trying to shape up an opportunity. No point going for an overtaking move that isn't there. Try and read the situation. Try and close back up on Mackie through the right-handers, through the first, then through the second, then through the third, and there'll be an opportunity potentially to get into the line. Harrison Mackie spending a little bit of time there on the inside curb to try and shut down the radius. He goes deep into the turn for the left-handers. Now he can tighten it up for the right, and I think even if Kuznini does get a decent toe, he's not going to be able to catch him in time. So Harrison Mackie is going to take first blood, and here comes Lloyd trying to get in on Kuznini. And he's not quite managed it, but that was not by much.
I thought he'd done it there.
I thought he'd done it, yeah, absolutely.
It was a long run to the start-finish line, so you have got that advantage for it. But Mackie takes the win on that one then from Kuznini. Kuznini, though, brilliant race. Started this one P7, came through, was leading for the majority as well. So had a good chance in that race lead. But Mackie then did take it for Fusion Motorsport, so the Brit will be happy with that one. I've got to say, it's because he's got no hair now. He's saving the weight there.
Absolutely.
It's helping out.
Well, do you know what? I had a bit of a feeling about Tizi Kuznini coming into this season. He did his graft with the Mini X30 category over the last couple of seasons with the Spirit Racing team. Now he's ready to step up to the big time, and he's joined the Pantano Racing team. It's a great team for him to really start to learn. He's got some amazing people to pick knowledge from. He's really going to step up in stature. I can actually see Tizi Kuznini really pushing for the Euro Series title in Junior this year. He's not quite been able to go for the front end of the field all the time, but certainly in Mini he was a very capable competitor, and the Swiss driver has a great shot at it. Harrison Mackie from Tizi Kuznini and Freddie Lloyd. Sandro Perez fighting his way to 4th place for the MDC squad. Romeo Russell in front of the Jamie Green Racing drivers, Zach Green and Isaac Phelps. Aston Sharp and Toby Gale. George Nassar comes back to 10th position after all of that. An amazing comeback. Thibaut Ramacas 11th in the end from Sam Woolley and Austin Gale. Then Taron Kinard and the Swiss driver Matt Corby moving to VDK Racing these days. 16th position behind him. Well, that was a good run from Alex Martinez, then Elvis Karaskaus, and then Connor Clancy from Wouter Bogogno, Jorn Helder, Sebastian Mins, Enzo Pedraza, and Henry Carter. Just the one retirement from the race in the end, and that was Vilma Svan. So, a fabulous situation, a tough race battle for all concerned, but we certainly got our money's worth in that one, didn't we? Some great driving from all of the contenders in X30 Junior that time round.
Yes, we certainly did, and we're looking forward to seeing them out a little bit later.